Susanna, so good to speak with you about a program which is really unique. Thanks to the Ernst von Siemens Music Foundation, we can do each year a program in the series called Resonanz Stifterkonzert. This program allows us to really go for music of the 20th and 21st century. So you, together with your orchestra, you designed a fantastic program for this Resonanz concert this summer, August 30. So I would like to ask you to tell us about this special program we're going to hear.
Well, I mean, we are absolutely delighted and also very honored to be performing at the Lucerne Festival. And indeed, this program is very, very special. But it also, for me, it reflects the work that you have been doing in Lucerne for so many years with the modern music and you know, collaboration with composers and all that. So it's wonderful to be one link in the chain in that sense. And we're bringing a program which is presenting 3 living composers. And I think the title Horizons is a very good one for the concert, because Horizons is, of course, already what you see, you know, the landscapes, and all these composers have that quality in the music. And then Horizons is also linked to seeing beyond what is near, which is the kind of visionary part. And I think also that is an essential quality for composers who are trying to find new horizons, and you know, there's a lot of research. All of these have done their you know, considerable time in research, and they have done it in different ways, and that's why also they are so original. And then horizons can also be in listening, and of course it's a visual term, but auditively, you know, when you hear something that takes you to another place, then you have new auditive horizons, and I think that's exactly what is happening with these works, and it's wonderful. So of course the opening piece, Vista, the title already itself, it is very, very clear. You know, you see a landscape or a vista indeed, and it's the latest orchestral piece of Kaija Saariaho, who is of course our great pride in Finnish music, who is now really at the peak, or you know, beginning a peak of her fantastic career. And this piece is very special. I mean, we're of course very, very happy that it's written for the Helsinki Philharmonic, but it's also some kind of how should I say, it's seeing new horizons, and at the same time it's summarizing all of her art in such a beautiful way. And then the second piece of the program is very, very different. Also a living composer, a fantastic one, who has a very different background, Dieter Ammann, who is also an incredible orchestrator. And this is a real virtuoso tour de force for both the soloists and the orchestra. It's written for Andreas Häfliger, who is really playing the solo part with great panache. And it's a beautiful piece which is comprising so many elements of different styles. But I think it's also it's more than that, because actually that's also the musical personality of Dieter. You know, he has his background in jazz. He's been a virtuoso jazz player, but he also has done classical studies, and he knows everything about all those, you know, compositional virtues, counterpoint, and his music is very dense, and that's partly where the virtuosity comes from. But it's almost like you know, a cornucopia. I think it's a piece which is a great feast. Actually, it's like a big party. It starts with a beautiful unison, and then we're suddenly swept away in this incredible colorful party where everybody's, you know, just playing their hearts out, and of course Andreas most of all, and it's showing off. I mean, it's really an extraordinary piece, very, very unexpected in a way, and at the same time very typical of Dieter's music, and it's always so much fun. I mean, really a fantastic new piece. And also, I think, you know, what is so wonderful with Dieter's music is that, as I said before, he's so able to swim in all waters, you know, stylistically, he's totally free. So he is an avant-garde composer if he wants to, but then he can also write music for this gigantic orchestra. I mean, we would like to be as agile as a jazz band of 7 musicians, and you know, we are close to 100, and it has this incredible explosive quality and joy and all of that. So it's really a great piece. Then we have Per Nørgård, of course, which who is a grand old man of you know 20th century music, and it's so great that he has been awarded the Siemens Prize, and his place in this program is also not only with the connection to Lucerne, but also connection with the Finnish orchestra. The 8th Symphony was commissioned and premiered by the Helsinki Philharmonic. It was my predecessor, Jon Storgård, who commissioned it. And it is, Nørgård's music is Nordic also in the sense, you know, he's a Danish composer. And he grew up in the land of Nielsen, and we know, of course, Nielsen and Sibelius were quite close. And Nørgård has told that he also was very impressed by the music of Sibelius very early on. So there's that sort of mental link. But then Nørgård, what makes him very special is that he also developed a sound world on his own, and there's also great deal of research involved. And I think what is very beautiful with his music is the very natural, or I would say nature-like balance in abstraction and scientific elements and organic growth. You know, there are elements in his music which can be analyzed, you know, in terms of mathematics. You know, there are infinity series, then there's also this mystical element in his music, and also really like growth and evolution and metamorphosis, which is also what's fascinated him about Sibelius. You know, there's a musical cell, and then gradually it grows like fractals, you know. And all of this is extremely fascinating, and Nørgård has built a really beautiful oeuvre catalog of works, and all the symphonies are very different. This particular one I find quite light. Actually, it has a lot of very resonant sonorities. It has almost spectral gestures. It has 3 movements, and like Saariaho, I think there is a very special magic in the sound world. It is a storytelling music without a specific story happening. You know, we are drawn in and we are accompanied through this piece, and it's really a fascinating composer, and I'm very happy that this piece is also part of the concert. And then to round up these living composers, we are, of course, a Finnish orchestra abroad, and we are always very proud to also tell people about how we are the orchestra of Jean Sibelius. The orchestra was founded in the late 19th century by Robert Kajanus, who was really a friend and colleague of Jean Sibelius. So the Helsinki Philharmonic is the orchestra which actually premiered most of Sibelius's works. And Tapiola is a very special piece. It's a tone poem. It's a very late piece in his oeuvre. And it's a symphonic poem. And I think it works specifically well in this program because it also has a universe on its own. You know, that Tapiola is a name from Kalevala, our national epos, and Tapio is the king of the forest. So Tapiola is the kingdom, the forest and the woods, and it also has a very special meaning. I would dare to say that for the Finns, in a way, the forest is not only a place where you go into and you breathe the air, you know, all the fantastic oxygens and, you know, everything that we know now about forest, but it's also a soothing place, and it's also a state of mind. And when you hear this music, it's actually something that is moving and static at the same time. And the forest is this kind of very wise nature who will always welcome the little human beings in it, and you know, it gives us comfort, it gives us strength and courage, and this piece moved me a lot because it has this kind of vastness in it. You know, it has, you can hear the little creatures moving, and then suddenly everything stops, and then suddenly you see up into the, you know, tops of the trees, and the light comes through the branches, and all of that. I feel it's music which has a lot of space in it, and it's also quite modern in terms of language, and it's really fascinating to think that it's a late piece, and Sibelius was developing his own tone language, and you can hear the harmonies which are kind of moving forward there. You know, he's really listening. There are chords which go back and forth, and I would actually really just let myself be swept in it and let the forest sort of take you in. It really has this beautiful quality, and of course now I'm speaking a lot in terms of nature, but Sibelius was also a great thinker, and I think all of the composers, one way or another, all of the three composers in the program have been impressed by the thinking of Sibelius. So that's what we are closing the concert with, and bringing a little part of Finnish nature to the audiences in Lucerne.